tell us why should investors, give weightage to what you have to say? What is your sort of experience in this field, in the field of financial services? Because people do need context.
Yeah, I agree. So I have over 11 years of formal experience in the financial services industry. So currently, I'm heading passive funds at Motilal Oswal, and so we have a basket of 10 sort of passive funds, including 7 index funds, 3 ETFs. So I manage that portfolio. Before this, I also built a business that did passive funds in the US. So this was a tech company in Silicon Valley where we basically built solutions on top of passive products and sold it to advisors. So we built almost a $500 million sort of assets AUM in less than a year and a half. So I think that was a lot of fun. And so I mean, I'll be honest, I've been investing for 15, 16 years now. Bought my first stock when I was 15 years old and haven't looked back since. So I think what I've learned is that passive investing is actually a very nascent stage in India today, and 80 or 90% of my job today is just to go out there and education. So I see myself more as a teacher than as a professional. So I keep telling people, I'm today the servant of your curiosity. So I think that's where I see my role evolving at my current role.
I appreciate that you put it like this because it's not passive investing is a concept which is not very popular in India.
Yeah.
If you can quantify, for example, what is the size of the total, let's say the ETF space or the index funds space today out of the total mutual fund market.
Yeah.
If you can, sort of quantify that, and directionally, where do you think it's headed?
Yeah. So it's not a popular space with most retail investors, but it's actually become pretty big over the last 5 years in India at least. So I would say the AUMs or assets of passive funds, say 2014, 2015, was about 5 to 6,000 crores. Today it's almost 2 lakh crores. So you're looking at, so the mutual fund AUM, say 5 years ago was around 4 lakh crore, and today it's 10 lakh crores. So around 2.5 times is what you've grown. Whereas in passive funds, you've had a growth of almost 30, 40, 50x. So I think even though it used to be a niche product, it is no more a niche product. Obviously, most of the inflows that have come in passive funds have come from pension funds, from the government. But I think increasingly over the last 12 months, you're seeing a lot of retail participation in passive funds. I'll give you a simple example for us. We've had passive funds now. I mean, the funds I launched last year. We have. I mean, the AUMs are not significant, but we've had thousands of investors invest in it. So almost, I would say, between 30 to 40,000 investors have come in and invested in our funds, which I think is not a small number. So I think it's getting there, and even if you see the US landscape, passive funds came in the 1970s. The first fund, the S&P 500, was launched in 1976. Today, it's the most biggest and the most highly liquid or bought fund in the world right now. So you're looking at something that started 50 years ago. It still survived, and it's now the biggest fund of all time. So I think what you really realize is that, for someone who's investing for very long time periods, you can really so I mean, it makes sense because it's very hard for you to bet on one particular fund manager for the next 5 or 10 years time. Whereas in passive funds, you can invest and live worry free. Yeah. And in terms of assets also, I think in the US today, so this year I think late of last year, did you see the mutual fund AUM of passive funds cross active funds? So today in the US, the assets of passive funds are now 50% plus. So I think most of the assets that people invest in today are index funds and ETFs.
Hopefully we are moving in that direction too. As I can tell you, from a Kuvera standpoint, we have been a passive first or an index first investment advisor right from our inception, and we have very closely seen the index funds, the size of index funds, the AUM within those index funds grow from 4 or 5 times to where they were just probably 2 to 3 years ago. So I can I agree with you completely that it's a trend, it's a good trend. But the other thing is that we are investment professionals, and we have seen markets overseas, we've seen products overseas. We have seen some of these trends, Do you think this is primarily a foreign, concept? How does this, do you think it applies really to India in the context of, how active funds have done versus passive funds? Uh, and again, these are how, passive funds would do across cycles, because it's something that an Indian investor should understand from an Indian context, right?
So I worked in Hong Kong, worked in India, worked in London, worked on the East Coast in the US, West Coast in the US, and I think what we're seeing is a very global trend. If you see funds across the entire sort of globe today, I think you've seen passive funds doing well across the board. So it's not a US thing, it's not a European thing, it's not a developed market thing. We're looking at passive funds taking off in India, taking off in Brazil, taking off in Southeast Asia, everywhere. And I think when you see a global trend, it's very hard for India as a country to skip that global trend. So I think passive funds, in my opinion, obviously are still small, but will sort of grow significantly over the next 5 to 10 years time. The other challenge is, the reason why I think it's a foreign concept is because I think the ecosystem in India today is not ready for people to start promoting passive funds. So today if you look at the mutual fund industry, almost most of the AUMs today are driven by intermediaries or distributors. And distributors today will most probably not promote passive funds, because the sort of commission that you get on passive funds is a lot less, maybe half of what you can get on an active fund. So I think, and the ecosystem, if you see, will evolve over the next 5 to 10 years time. So direct is going up in a big way. Then even advisors, are also sort of increasing their focus. In a big way. So I think people are less reliant on distribution income and more on sort of income from the customer. And also, if you see the DIY digital space, where everyone wants to go and do their own research, do their own analysis, will find passive funds very attractive. And lastly, I think there's a huge shift from fund selection to asset allocation. So what we've realized is that 90%. I mean, this is from countless studies. 90% of all fund of the variability of returns in a portfolio is because of the combination of assets, not based on what fund you buy, what fund you sell, what fund you churn. So I think the movement to asset allocation, which is where the US has gone over the last 10-15 years, will sort of augur well for passive funds.
So you mentioned a couple of studies. I want to mention there's this SPIVA report which is published by S&P, and we've been tracking that from the last 4 or 5 years, and it sort of attests to that fact that a majority of funds, active funds, are sort of unable to beat the benchmark, and which does translate, which does make one think that, hey, listen, this is not just a foreign concept, and it is something. It is only a matter of time as awareness increases. The regulator, for example, has played a great role in sort of aligning the investor's interest with the advisor, right? By introducing the concept of direct plans, by bringing in the RIA regulations, etc. So that landscape is, sort of evolved over the last few years, and I think direct is one trend, and probably passive is going to be the other trend. And so there is a lot of scope, for this space to grow. But we are very happy with the growth that we are seeing already in the passive space.
So when it comes to, I would say, the SPIVA report, or I mean, there's a lot of other studies that we keep seeing, and I think if you think about it, SPIVA report is also not completely correct. So there's a lot of survivorship bias there. So I'll give you a simple example. So in the US, if you see, the indexes beat, I would say, between 90-95% of all active funds. And actually, the real number is actually a lot bigger, because a lot of these funds have not survived. So it doesn't take into account the funds that have closed down or merged with other funds, all of that. So actually, number is more to do. It's higher than that. That's number one. And number two, I think people also have to understand that even passive funds do not perfectly track the index. So when people say that I think you're buying an index fund, there will be certain tracking error that will happen. So passive funds will also underperform the index, but obviously the underperformance is very marginal every year. But so it's important to understand that when you're looking at something that's beating the index, buying the index is great, but also you should expect some level of underperformance because of expense ratio and sort of taxes and other things that sort of come in the middle.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.